Good morning, class. Welcome to today's lesson. So without further ado, let us start, okay? So first of all, I want all of you to look at these three pictures, okay? Now, can you please think of a word to describe each of these pictures? Okay, so the first picture, there are two cars in the picture, okay? So the first one, the blue color car, is cheaper, it's cheap. And the pink one is expensive because it's a sport car, okay? Now the next picture is a man carrying heavy weights. And the girl, the woman, is only carrying light weights. Yes. And the next picture, the last one, is an old man wrapping himself around with a blanket because he is cold. And the other guy is doing this. It's because he feels hot. Okay? So, everyone repeat after me. The first one, cheap. Expensive. Heavy. Light. Cold. Hot. Okay, good job everyone. So today we will be learning more about adjectives because the words just now, they are actually adjectives, remember? Yes. So today I do not want to teach you anymore about normal adjectives, about the positive adjectives. What I want to do today is to teach you about the forms of adjectives. There are positive adjectives, comparative adjectives, and superlative adjectives. So that is what we will be learning today. Okay, class. So now I want all of you to focus on the screen that I have just shared. Okay, can everyone see the word comparative adjective? Okay, good. Repeat after me. Comparative adjective. Okay, so comparative adjectives, they compare two nouns. So for example, it could be a common noun like pencil and pen. We can compare these two nouns, or we can compare, for example, this pencil is longer than this pen. Okay. Another one is also proper nouns. We can compare, for example, Elizabeth is taller than Shakira. Okay. So we usually add er to the adjective. For adjectives that we cannot add er, we add the word more without changing the spelling. So, for example, when we add we add er behind it, it can be, as you see in the screen, the waves are higher than yesterday. So the original adjective, the positive adjective of higher, is high. So when you add it er, it becomes a comparative adjective. Higher, er, high, er, higher. Okay, next one is this year, many of the flood victims are more prepared to face the disaster than last year. So, for words like prepared, or even beautiful or handsome, we cannot add er. We cannot say prepared, or we cannot say beautiful or like that. Okay, so instead of that, we have to use the word more, more. So we add the word more without changing the spelling of the adjective. Okay. Okay. So moving on to superlative adjectives. Everyone repeat after me. Superlative adjectives. Okay. So superlative adjectives compare more than two nouns. So just now comparative adjectives, there are only two nouns. Pencil, pen. Elizabeth and Shakira. But right now, superlative adjectives, they compare more than two. So for example, if I was to say pen and pencil, there could be color pencils, a lot of pencils, and a lot of pens on the table, and then we have to compare each one. Or it could be Elizabeth, Shakira, then there's Zakwan, and then there's Owen, and then there's Clady, and then there's Emily. So there are a lot more, it's just more than just two nouns. So when it comes to cases like this, we would add the est to the adjective. And for words that we cannot change, we will use the word most. So for example, look at the screen. The hurricane which hit the city is the strongest ever recorded. Means in the past there has been many hurricanes that hit the city. However, this is the strongest among all the other hurricanes. Okay? So we are comparing more than two hurricanes. Next one. The eruption of Mount Pinatubo was the most destructive in the 20th century. As I mentioned just now, when it comes to adjectives, when it comes to superlative adjectives, you add est behind it. Like strong, it becomes strongest. Weak, it becomes weakest. However, when it comes to words like destructive, or like I said just now, beautiful, prepared, we cannot change the spelling. So instead of changing the spelling and putting est, we put the word most in it, behind the adjective. So for example, the most destructive, or the most beautiful, or the most prepared. Okay, so these are examples of comparative adjectives and superlative adjectives. Okay, now that everyone has been introduced to comparative and superlative adjectives, I want you all to once again focus on the shared screen and look at this table that I have just shown. Okay, yes, I know that at the bottom there you cannot see all the words, they are still blanks, right? Yes, so now I want you to focus on the first three positive adjectives, old. Okay, so let me show you the comparative and superlative adjectives of old. So it's old, older, and oldest. Remember what I've taught you just now? When it comes to comparative adjectives, you plus er. And then when it comes to superlative adjectives, you plus est behind the adjective. So old, older, er, oldest, est. Okay, now moving on to the next word, thick. So thick, thicker, thickest. Okay, so this one, the third one, famous, more famous, and most famous. Some words we cannot change the spelling. We cannot put famouser, famouses. So instead of using er and est, we would put the word more and most, like I mentioned just now. Okay, so now it's your turn to try. Okay, now let me show you this one, hardworking. Now, class, what should the comparative adjective of hardworking be? Okay, so let me open it. Okay, now moving on to the superlative adjective. What should the superlative adjective be? Okay, correct. Now, the next word is good. So good is actually there are a few words in the English dictionary that when you change it to comparative adjective and superlative adjectives, you change the spelling completely. Okay, so I want you guys to try it out and see if anyone can get it. Okay, so what is the comparative adjective of good? Okay, let me show you. So good and better. For example, Alice is good in English. However, Owen is better in English than Alice. Okay, so now the superlative one is best. Okay, Clady is the best in English among the three of them. Okay, so good, better, and best. Okay, so the last one is bad. Okay, so can anyone figure out the comparative adjective of bad? Okay, so bad, worse. Okay, so bad, worse, and the superlative adjective, worst. Okay, so these are two examples of words that completely change the spelling in order to become comparative and superlative adjectives. Okay, now I want all of you to look at your WhatsApp group. I have shared a link to quizzes. So I want all of you to press the link and answer the quiz on quizzes. Okay? Okay, so good job to all of you who have already finished the quizzes. Right now, what we are going to do is we are going to do a scavenger hunt. Unfortunately, since it's online, I can't have all of you to run around in the class. However, what I want all of you to do is still stay in this Google Meet, and also ask each other. When is your month of birth? Okay, so for example, Owen, when is your month of birth? Okay, November. So at least, okay, January. So I want all of you to ask each other, when were you born? What month were you born in? Okay, and then after that, I want all of you to group each other, write down your names on a piece of paper, and write down the month next to your names. After that, I want you all to be in one group, just in this Google Meet. Okay, remember the group members that have the same month of birth with you. Write it down, January. Okay, then you write all the people in January, February, like that. Okay, and I want all of you to choose one group leader in the months. Okay, so for example, January, if there is 5 people, I want one person to become the group leader. Okay, and once all of you have already selected your group leader, I want you to raise your hand and make sure that I can see your hands raised in the Google Meet screen. Okay, make sure that your hand can be seen in the camera, and then I will read out, and I want all of you to write it on a piece of paper, the name of the leaders. Okay, your time starts now. 10 minutes for you to figure out your group members. Okay, now that we have already figured out which month, who was born in this month, and whatnot, I want all of you to open the worksheet that I have sent and construct sentences based on the names, okay, of the classmates, and use the adjectives young and old. Okay, we have reached end of our lesson. Before we finish everything, I want all of you to go to your WhatsApp group and write 3, 2, 1. Okay, 3, which is 3 things that you have learned from today's lesson. 2 questions that you have about the topic, and 1 is one thing that you want me to know. Okay, so please everyone go to the WhatsApp group and write these 3, 2, 1 things. Okay class, I have read all of your 3 to 1 comments. Now I want to say thank you so much for attending today's Google Meet class, and I will see you in the next lesson. Okay, thank you so much. Take care and stay safe.